Musa Dankwah kofa bai wasan kofa fufraba. Eno a mo kaya me analysis no ni share for many on Friday on the critical analysis channel. Me catch you say you 15% be a Musa Dankwah NPP research on who leads the NPP no. What is that 15% ya ko kan Kennedy 19 ho a Bawumia ho be kire no. Now we're breaking it down 15% undecided no regional. Amanfo nsi ma dream pise efa no mo to akono. What I catch was undisclosed, undecided, near different. Undisclosed, I mean, can't you? Undecided, you metal, but mean decided, baby, I met to a call. Now, Musa Dankwah, oh yeah, dear, my catch was said, you get it wrong sometimes. And normal, science is never absolute. But, me see any video where no matter, Adiana see ye. A mama saying I am Cheshire, Kakra, I'm a team Bawumia. My saying I am Cheshire, Kakra, so I'm a team Kennedy. Balance nyenti ameka sa no mechew again Felix Kwakye Ofosu nkase me nke mfa no ho NDC MP for asebu kwa man kese Minister of State Government Communication ka we fa ho ben watutu bia ma ne Bawumia nyasem ketwa ewo good morning Ghana on Friday no but the new bro on the critical analysis channel to mechew so be subscribe mo subscribe no akiki be notification no me the video be etuma obehu na watimi ahwe be wia no ja comment in the comment section no na wako app any Play Store e wanna pan rate or if you want to send money to Ghana rate no baby abenya papa na pan rate all the major meeting platforms no e wono mudi o magro e wono mudi rate ne be ma no choose ne be bwana de do djuma Musa yeye research and near that's it. Musa Dankwah say about 15% for be undecided. Bawumia 44 no and Kennedy 19 no. Hanom ono the drain say I pen as serious as a poster because undecided that most na na call Kennedy or especially in the NPP contest no. Okay. Now kind no ana brandable or TikTok your friend of Kennedy doctrine okobusa questions undecided no betimi explain ni wo nene Musa Dankwah e be chire mu on TikTok or the 2 or 10 minutes gram na mafa me di video na mamu no chire mu baby a undecided ni free ba omo age band no tie ni yi obehu a certain trick bi wo tie.
Hi, good morning and welcome to Global Info Analytics. Today is Sunday 26th of October 2025. I've had a question from someone on TikTok with a handle called Ken Doctrine, asking me a few questions about the undecided and their demography and where they are located. So this morning, I will be taking through those who are undecided in terms of the regions they are in mostly, whether their age profile, their gender, their educational level, and whatever demography that we have. In fact, religion, if you want to go that, even ethnic group, if you want to break down that number further. So this morning, I'm just going to focus on those who are undecided. And let me put it this way. If the undecided people are 100%, if there are 100 people who are undecided, where can you find these 100 people? According to the poll, around 1.6% are in Afro region, but 12% of those who are undecided are in Ashanti region. 12%. 2% are in the Bono region. 5% are in the Bono East region. 15% are in the Central region. So Central region is very, very high among those who are undecided. Then you have Greater Accra. 26% of all people who are undecided are in Greater Accra. Then you have Northeast, 2%. Northern region, around 5%. Otik, around 2%. Savannah, 2%. Upper East, around 7%. Upper West, 3%. Volta, 8%. And then Western, 3%. Western North, 1%. So in terms of the concentration of people who are undecided, who are above 5% threshold, Ashanti region is 1, Bono East, Central region, Eastern region, Greater Accra region, Upper East, Volta region. These are the regions you can find high concentration of voters who are at the moment undecided. So this will be helpful for any of the campaign to see how to deploy resources and where to go. This is free data we are giving to all the campaign. But thank you, Ken Doctrine for asking this question, and I think we are giving it out there for public to see where the numbers are. Now, when you come to those who are undecided, 79% of men, or of those who are undecided, 79% are men, 21 are female. But that is really reflective of the current structure anyway, because NPP delegates, about 75% are female and 20% or 25% are male. So here it doesn't tell you much. But in terms of age profile, those who are undecided, 35 to 44 years account for 37% of those who are undecided. With the middle-aged people, 35 to 44, 37%. And then 45 to 54, they are 29%. 25 to 34, 22%. So a lot of people who are undecided are in the middle-aged Gen Z category to the middle-aged group of delegate. Very few people who are between 18 and 24 are undecided, and those who are maybe 65 to 65 plus, they are just 3%. So the bulk of the undecided are in the middle age group, 25 to 34, or 25 to what I would call a 54 years age group. So in terms of your question, this is the age profile of those people. Now, if you come to educational level of these people, 40% of people who are undecided have junior high qualification. 34% of them have senior high. 17% have tertiary, and 8% have no qualification. So broadly reflecting the structure of the NPP. Now, among all who are undecided based on a religious ground, 78% of those who are undecided are Christians, 19% are Muslims, 2% are traditional religion, nearly 0.5% are other religions, and 1% belong to those who are without religion. Again, when you come to those who are undecided by their ethnic groups, 49% of Akans, or 49% of those who are undecided are Akans. 49%. 5% are Guans, 10% are Gandangbe's, 11% are Evers, 18% are Moli, or 19% are Moli Dagbani. So from the major ethnic groups, the ones with the highest proportion of people who are yet to decide are the Akans, 49%. So basically, this is the demography of people who are undecided. As to what the campaign will do going forward is up to them. But we've given you that in terms of geography, where you can find them, most of them, about 12% Ashanti region, about 15% Central region, about 26% in Greater Accra, and then another 5% in Bono East, 6% in Eastern region, and Volta region 8%. I'm quite surprised that low level of people who are in the Eastern that are undecided. It means Eastern region is largely fairly settled. In the sense that very few of them are undecided. They know what to do. Even among those who said they will not disclose, Eastern region is about 6%. So it's a strong region, a very important region, and they are expressing their views in terms of their voting intention. At the moment, yes, we can see that that from the data. Now,
yes, and you see here, first region, Greater Accra, Ashanti, Central. Why is Kennedy Central region based undecided? On percentage was 15%. Ashanti 12, Greater Accra 20 something, 26%. And also, and they be a catch who analyze the Ghana election. One region, it gives you baby I think the only time a year is 2020. And SSI. Baby a Greater Accra tied to a Mabacon. Say any planetary win elections in the general elections in Ghana. Baby a Greater Accra tied to Nabacon. Because Greater Accra cosmopolitan manfra betin na komia no die mpu Accra cosmopolitan nebu Ashanti regions nebu northern Greater Accra gives you a proper nuance manfra bia wo hobi. It is a better cosmopolitan area than any region in Ghana. It is a 26% greater K undecided. A worrying for anybody, because whoever wins Greater Accra has a high propensity to win the election because of that dynamics and because of the national politics I make compare. So it tells you that Kennedy has a lot to do in his backyard. As on call central, as on starting on call Bono or by Ashanti or call on call maybe or call heavy a best. But I'm answer back Ashanti or by twice, but still undecided around 12%. A warning. Into another is that no age group no so kind of Gen Z is no 25. Gen Z is about 25 to 35 no. But my bemu bu your politics no. And these are delegates. And the delegate you grab bemu in the politics. How can that delegate be convinced to go out and bring people? But what I say? So the NPP find themselves in a very interesting situation. But that said, Anna me came so unity, NPP be here unity going into the election. Felix Kwakye Ofosu just one believe is how. 2016, NPP party be one to go Musa NPP. When we win the election.
I would, first of all, if you're not clearly monitoring what's happening within the
first of all, there's no contest in the NDC for flag bearership, so the situation that question does not even begin to arise. Number two, the NDC has done this over and over and over. In fact, we've had Mrs. Rollins, who was a very powerful woman in the NDC, challenge an incumbent president, and we scaled it. So it is not a problem at all. When the time comes, we will maneuver it successfully. We will come up with a very viable candidate who will continue with the legacy of President Mahama. But regarding the NPP, because they are the ones who are holding a contest now, you know, for me, I think that they've misdiagnosed their problem. The decision to hold this contest so early points to a misdiagnosis of why they lost. Somehow they believe that it was internal divisions that led them to opposition. That is not the case. More, I've told you here that the people of Ghana have shown in the last 8 elections or so that it is their welfare, how they feel about their welfare, that motivates them to go for one party or the other. Look, in 2014, the NPP was in complete disarray. By the time they went for the elections, they had slotted a party chairman in the Upper East also, Alhaji Adams, Chairman Adams. Acid was poured on him, he died. They had staged brawls in their party headquarters. Agyapong and Co. had charged on opponents of Akufo-Addo within the party and harassed them. We saw the killings in Asawase. I think 2 people also died from clashes within the NPP. Yet they won the elections by close to 1 million votes in 2016. What does that tell you about the people of Ghana? They are unconcerned about happenings within parties. What they care about is what they believe the government of the day has done or not done. So if you take that into consideration, you see that all of this hoopla is much ado about nothing. Look, it is obvious that having been the immediate past candidate of the NPP, Dr. Bawumia goes into that primaries with an edge. Except that perhaps he may have a bit more challenge this time than he did when the whole establishment was behind him. Indeed, there are credible reports that President Akufo-Addo himself has now distanced himself from Dr. Bawumia and is backing by Agyapong. This is an open secret. Everybody knows it because you see that key operatives within the Akufo-Addo government and the NPP machinery are supporting Agyapong. It is also obvious that now Agyapong does not have to deal with the system. So there's a bit more wind in his sail at this particular moment. And he is mounting a credible challenge. But despite that, I think that Dr. Bawumia, having contested once and having been marketed before, stands a chance. Also, there's a certain natural sympathy that he will get within the NPP, having lost the elections. It has happened in all political parties. So I will not be surprised if he won. As to whether or not he will win by a wider margin this time than before remains to be seen. MPs rallying support, for me it is inconsequential. The average MP would want to play safe. They wouldn't want to rock the boat because there are consequences for their own elections internally. And I must indicate, having participated at the constituency level in terms of electioneering and mobilization, that constituency-based elections, primaries for MPs or parliamentary candidates, are more divisive than presidential primaries. Because what happens is that the people who are within the branches, or if like the polling stations, as the NPP calls them, are far removed from those at the top who are battling it out. So they don't really have personal relationships. So they may listen to an influential person and vote one way or the other, or based on their own views about the people that they know from a distance. They may take certain decisions. But when it comes to internal primaries, what happens is that there are closer relationships. And so the schisms are deeper. The divisions are deeper. And that is even more likely to affect the party's prospects than the primaries upstairs, at the top of the party. I cannot place a finger on any instance where legitimate division at the top of a party affected its outcomes in elections. And 2016 is a typical example. In fact, I don't know of any party that went into the 2016 that has gone into elections that was as divided as the NPP was in 2016. Yet they put up a stellar performance, swept parliament, and won by almost 1 million votes. So it tells you that the NPP has misdiagnosed their problem. They don't know where their problem is. In fact, the one who is likely to win Bawumia will also be their weakest link in the 2028 elections. For as long as this economy does better than what they left, Dr. Bawumia will struggle to convince the people of Ghana that he has what it takes to run this country. You see, he himself is a bundle of contradictions. In one breath, he says he was the be-all and end-all of all NPP policies. Sometimes he takes credit for even things that predict him, like interoperability and what have you. Yet, in another breath, he says that he had no role to play in the NPP and that the economic mess was not his doing. Meanwhile, we all know that as far back as 2008, when he was first tapped to be President Akufo-Addo's running mate, when he didn't even have an NPP membership card, which led to strong protests from Agyapong, if you read Arthur Kennedy's book. It is the economy that has been cited for the reason why he was tapped to partner President Akufo-Addo. Maybe in 2008 it was a bit less pronounced. But in 2012, he started holding public lectures to demonstrate his capacity in economic governance. Indeed, in 2016, President Akufo-Addo was clear in his statements that he had gone for Dr. Bawumia because of his economic prowess and that he was going to hand over the management of the economy to him. When they came to power, he sought to take credit for every gain that was made in the economy. Yet, the moment the economy turns out, he tried to distance himself. So, it raised serious credibility problems for him in the eyes of the Ghanaian electorate. For as long as he remains active in politics, he will always be associated with the economic downturn that proved disastrous for the average Ghanaian. He has not been able to overcome that. So, no amount of maneuvering, it doesn't matter how he wins in the NPP. People will always compare his performance to what is happening today. And you see, voters are rational decision makers. The average voter, to the extent that they are of sound mind and of the right age, is rational in his decision making. When he goes to vote, if the conditions under which he lives presently are better than what existed under a previous government that he has voted at, he is most unlikely to go back. So that is Dr. Bawumia's conundrum. If you look at the economic performance today, it is much better than what he left. So exactly what, indeed I've seen him say, for instance, that he would deliver world-class governance. Meanwhile, you left power barely 10 months ago. Where was that world-class governance? People can say that it is the worst period that this country has had to go through under your stewardship of the economy.
But he was not the president.
Sure, he was not. So he was not the president when he claimed that those 33 policies that were implemented were his brainchild. Today, he claims that he was the brain behind gold for oil. Despite gold for oil, our economy collapsed. Our currency collapsed. It moved from 6 cedis to 17 cedis. When he was leaving power, the economy was around the cedi was around 17 cedis to $1. He was not the president, and yet he said that he introduced gold for oil. He was not the president, but he says that he introduced interoperability. He wasn't the president, but he says he introduced that thing that they used to transport some blood to be, what is it called? What do you call it? The drone service. He was not president, was he? He wasn't president, but he says he introduced,
isn't it? The zip line.
Zipline, yes. He said he was not president, but he says he introduced it.
So those were the things he could do.
So, but what is the effect, the totality of what he did? No, hold on. He says that he was the brain behind gold for oil.
Yes.
Not so.
Yes.
He was the brain behind the accumulation of gold by the central bank.
Yes.
So they had been accumulating gold since 2022 or so. And yet, the purpose of the accumulation, which was to bolster the currency, was not realized. The currency performed at its worst level when he was doing that. What is the outcome of what he did? So that contradiction, and it appears that he still continues to drive that mantra, is going to create a permanent credibility crisis for him. People, you see, the more he tries to run away from the economic hardships that he created, the more people associate him with it. So his difficulty really is not going to be in the NPP. In fact, this week, contrary to Paul's claim that there has been some toning down in the vitriol, it has not been the case. NPP people, indeed Brother Agyapong, has publicly accused Bawumia of destroying the currency. And his supporters have told the same lie. They have gone to town accusing him of, and if they were NDC people, you could say that we were engaged in the usual politics. But these are NPP people. Many of them are supporters of Akufo-Addo. They are saying that Bawumia is responsible for the collapse of the currency. And if you know the role that the currency plays in economic management, you see that it is at the heart of many of our problems. The mismanagement that went on.
Okay.
They said that he did it. So if your own party hold you accountable for the destruction of the Ghanaian economy that we witnessed, what do you expect the general public to perceive of you? So his biggest problem really is not these primaries. I believe that he will win. What remains to be seen is a margin of victory. But as for the general elections, today is what, 24th October. For as long as this economy continues on the trajectory that Dr. Ofosu under the able leadership of President Mahama are taking it, Bawumia will struggle.
Yes. So that's his view. We're not there some analysis on the number analysis with Musa Dankwah. So I don't know. Tim Kennedy. Then I'm pick out Tim Bawumia. Then I'm pick one. I know some here Tim Kennedy. And I person be some here the same over be I can't know. It's best subscriber na click bell notification no me the video be atuma obehu na wetimi ahwe bi no ja comment in the comments section. Let's do it acrossly me any ho atam why ya ne mabuni ya ndache no na ye fancy wa se de bia me ka me hian Ghana so hian hwon so ye mo me bye bye.